Let's be brutally honest about relationships for a minute. We all love the idea of relationships, the movies, the fairy tales, the highlight reels we see on social media. But the reality, it's a lot messier than anyone likes to admit. Because behind every perfect couple photo, behind every "we're so happy" caption, is a raw, unfiltered truth most people avoid. And here it is. Love alone is never enough to make a relationship work. Yeah, I said it. We grow up thinking that if the feelings are strong enough, if the chemistry is there, if you've got butterflies in your stomach and late night conversations, that's all you need. But feelings fade, chemistry settles, butterflies die off when the hard conversations show up. What keeps a relationship alive isn't just attraction, it's alignment, it's effort. It's showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It's loving them when they're not at their best and choosing to stay curious when it's easier to judge. That's the brutal truth. And here's another one. You can love someone deeply and still not be right for each other. I know that one hurts. The compatibility is more than shared hobbies or a spark. It's shared values. It's the ability to communicate even when your walls are up. It's how they handle stress, conflict, responsibility. It's not about how they treat you on your best days. It's how they show up when life gets ugly. Relationships will expose your insecurities. They'll test your patience. They'll challenge every belief you have about yourself and love. And if you're not willing to face those uncomfortable parts of you, the relationship becomes a battlefield instead of a partnership. And let's not forget, wanting a relationship is easy. Building one that lasts, that's where most people fall apart. See, anyone can say, "I love you," but can they say, "I'm sorry" when they've hurt you? Can they say, "I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to work through this with you"? Can they say, "I'm committed," not just when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient, when real life shows up with bills, with stress, with disagreements? That's the brutal truth. Love isn't all candlelit dinners and spontaneous weekends away. It's tough conversations. It's emotional responsibility. It's understanding that forever isn't promised. It's chosen. Every single. And here's where it gets even more real. You teach people how to treat you. If you tolerate inconsistency, mixed signals, or emotional games, you send the message that this is what you accept. If you avoid hard boundaries because you're scared to lose them, you end up losing yourself. The truth is, the right relationship will challenge you to grow, but it won't confuse you about your worth. It won't feel like a guessing game. It won't leave you wondering where you stand. It will bring clarity, not chaos. And if all you've known is chaos, it will feel uncomfortable at first. That's okay. Lean into that discomfort. Because when you face the brutal truth about relationships, you finally give yourself permission to experience the beautiful, honest, imperfect love you deserve. Love alone is never enough. Let's get something clear from the start. Love alone does not sustain a relationship. That's not a bitter statement. It's a wake-up call. We've been conditioned to believe that if we love someone enough, everything will work itself out. That if the emotions are strong, if the chemistry is powerful, if the passion is electric, then nothing else should matter. But real life doesn't work like a movie. Love is not magic glue. It's the starting point, not the full blueprint. Because what happens when the honeymoon phase fades, what happens when the spark settles, and life gets messy, when stress kicks in, routines get dull, and emotions get complicated, that's where most relationships fall apart. Not because there wasn't love, but because there wasn't structure. There wasn't a shared commitment to build something beyond infatuation. You can love someone deeply and still not communicate well. You can love them and still not know how to resolve conflict, how to support their emotional needs, or how to create safety. Love doesn't give you emotional maturity. It doesn't teach you patience. It doesn't automatically build trust. That's what work does. The truth is, healthy relationships are built on more than feelings. They are rooted in action. How someone shows up when they're angry matters more than how passionate they are when things are easy. How they handle discomfort, your discomfort, says more about your future together than all the sweet words in the world. So stop asking, do they love me? And start asking, are they equipped to love me well? Do they take accountability? Do they show up with consistency? Do they respect your needs, your values, your growth? Love may be the fire, but it's respect, effort, and alignment that keep it burning. Here's what that means for you. Stop holding on to someone just because the love feels intense. Intensity without integrity is chaos. Chemistry without commitment is confusion. You deserve more than a roller coaster that runs on emotion but crashes when it's time to show up. Real love doesn't just feel good, it builds good. It builds stability. It builds safety. It builds a space where both people can thrive, not just survive. So don't settle for love that only shows up when it's easy. Don't cling to someone who gives you the world one day and silence the next. Don't mistake drama for depth. Love without the maturity to carry it is just noise. Choose someone who chooses to love you in action, not just in emotion. That's the kind of love that lasts. And that's the brutal, beautiful truth. You can love someone and still not be right for them. Let's talk about one of the hardest pills to swallow when it comes to love. The idea that sometimes, even when love is present, it's not enough to make it work. And I get it. That idea alone feels impossible to accept. How could you love someone so deeply and still have it fall apart? How can you look at them, feel that undeniable connection, and still realize you're not actually right for each other? But here's the brutal truth. Love is not a guarantee of compatibility. See, love is a feeling. It's powerful, intoxicating, sometimes overwhelming, but compatibility, that's practical. That's built on your lifestyles, your values, your communication styles, your ability to handle life together. It's not about how much you love each other. It's about how you love each other and whether the two of you are built to walk the same path. You can love someone who doesn't want the same future as you. You can love someone who lacks the emotional tools to meet your needs. You can love someone who triggers your insecurities, magnifies your fears, or brings out parts of you that you've fought hard to heal from. And still, the love feels real. That's what makes it so confusing. But here's where growth comes in. Just because you feel love doesn't mean you should stay. Love should not cost you your peace. It should not diminish your self-worth. It should not have you constantly justifying your pain in the name of, but I love them. Real maturity is knowing when love exists and walking away anyway. It means having the courage to say, I love you, but we're not building something healthy together. It means understanding that chemistry isn't compatibility, that passion isn't partnership, that wanting them doesn't mean they're capable of showing up for you the way you deserve. Let's be honest, the world is full of people we could love, but the right person, the one who complements your life, who aligns with your values, who brings out your calm, your strength, your best self, that's rare. That's not just about how your heart feels. That's about how your life fits together. And if your relationship is filled with constant chaos, mixed signals, or exhausting uncertainty, it doesn't matter how strong the love is. That's not healthy love. That's an addiction to intensity, and you deserve more than that. You deserve the kind of love that doesn't leave you guessing, the kind of love that builds, not breaks, the kind that grows with you, not against you. So yes, you can love someone and still not be right for them. It's painful, it's unfair, but it's also liberating. Because once you accept that truth, you stop holding on to relationships that drain you, and you create space for the love that's actually meant for you. Relationships expose, not fix, your insecurities. There's a lie we've been sold about relationships, and it's one of the most dangerous. It's the belief that finding the right person will finally fix everything you dislike about yourself, that the right partner will make you feel worthy, lovable, confident, that suddenly the insecurities you've carried for years will magically dissolve the moment someone chooses you. But let's be real, the truth is exactly the opposite. Relationships don't fix your insecurities, they expose them. That relationship, it will bring to the surface every self-doubt, every hidden fear, every quiet insecurity you thought you'd buried. Suddenly, your fear of abandonment feels louder. Your belief that you're not enough creeps in. You notice yourself overthinking, overanalyzing, questioning your worth, and it feels like the relationship triggered it. But the truth, those fears were already there. The relationship didn't create them, it revealed them. And while that can feel terrifying, it's actually a gift if you're willing to face it. See, when someone loves you, it doesn't erase the work you still need to do on yourself. In fact, love puts you under a microscope. It shows you the cracks in your foundation. It brings out the old wounds that still need healing. The childhood patterns, the limiting beliefs, the stories you've been telling yourself for years. And this is where most people get stuck. They either run from the relationship because it feels uncomfortable, or they cling to it, hoping the other person will fill the gaps they refuse to fill themselves. But real growth happens when you use the relationship as a mirror, not a solution. When those insecurities surface, you have a choice. You can blame your partner. You can sabotage the connection. You can run, or you can lean in. You can look at those fears with honesty and compassion. You can do the inner work. You can build the kind of self-worth that isn't dependent on someone choosing you, but rooted in how deeply you've chosen yourself. Because here's the truth most people avoid. No relationship can make you feel worthy if you don't believe it already. No amount of attention, affection, or commitment can override the work you refuse to do within. But when you face your insecurities head on, you become dangerous in the best possible way. You stop settling for half love because you finally believe you deserve more. You stop clinging to unhealthy patterns because you're not operating from fear. You stop looking to your partner to fix you, and instead you show up whole, healed, and grounded. That's the version of you who doesn't just survive relationships, you thrive in them, you co-create something healthy, balanced, and real. So no, a relationship won't fix your insecurities, but it will hand you a mirror. And when you're brave enough to look into it, that's where real love, self-love, and shared love finally begins. Building a relationship takes more than wanting one. Let me tell you something that most people quietly discover after heartbreak, but by then it often feels too late. Just wanting a relationship isn't enough to build one. And I know that sounds obvious on the surface, but think about how often we fall into this trap. You meet someone, the connection is electric, the chemistry feels right, and both of you say you want the same thing, a relationship, stability, something real. But here's where it gets tricky. Desire without discipline doesn't build. It's easy to want love when the conversations are exciting, when the attraction is fresh, when the what-if possibilities are endless. But building a relationship, that happens when life gets inconvenient, when time is limited, when stress shows up, when vulnerability feels terrifying. That's where the real work begins. And that's where most people quietly tap out. Wanting a relationship is romantic. Building one is practical. It means choosing someone even when you're tired, busy, or overwhelmed. It means having uncomfortable conversations, setting boundaries, and showing up with consistency. It means resolving conflict instead of avoiding it. It means understanding that relationships aren't self-sustaining. They require attention, effort, and sometimes sacrifice. And here's what most people miss. Your partner isn't responsible for building it alone. It's a shared project. It's both of you choosing daily to invest time, energy, patience, and growth into what you're creating together. People love to say relationships shouldn't be hard. But let's get real. Anything worth building, your health, your career, your mindset, takes effort. Why would love be any different? The wrong relationship is hard because of games, manipulation, and unmet needs. But the right relationship is hard because it challenges you to be better. It stretches your emotional muscles. It forces you to communicate more clearly, to listen more deeply, to grow beyond your comfort zone. So the next time you find yourself saying, I want a relationship, ask the harder question. Am I ready to build one? Am I ready to stay when it's uncomfortable? Am I ready to face my own patterns, fears, and triggers? Am I ready to co-create, not just consume? Because love isn't found, it's built. It's not about crossing your fingers and hoping it works out. It's about showing up day after day through the highs, the lows, the uncertainty. It's about commitment, not just to the other person, but to the process. And the best part, when two people are both willing to do that work, that's when love stops being a guessing game and starts becoming the safest, most beautiful foundation you'll ever stand on. You teach people how to treat you. Let's have an honest conversation, because this is one of the most powerful, life-changing truths you'll ever learn about relationships. Ready? You teach people how to treat you. It's not just about what they say or how they show up. It's about what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you silently accept. Every time you let disrespect slide, every time you ignore a red flag because you don't want to rock the boat, every time you stay silent when your needs aren't being met, you send a message. And here's the hard truth. Silence is permission. Think about it. If someone constantly shows up late, flakes on plans, communicates poorly, and you've taught them that their inconsistency is okay. If someone gives you mixed signals, plays games, and you keep chasing them, you've taught them that they don't have to offer clarity. You'll settle for crumbs. It's uncomfortable to hear, but it's also incredibly freeing. Because if you've taught people to treat you poorly, you also have the power to re-educate them or to walk away entirely. Your boundaries aren't about punishing someone. They're about communicating your worth. They say, I value myself enough to require respect, consistency, and emotional safety. And if you can't meet that, that's okay, but I won't stay. It's not your job to beg someone to treat you right. It's your job to demonstrate through your actions what right treatment looks like. And here's where so many people struggle. They confuse patience with passivity. They tell themselves, I just need to be understanding. They'll change. Maybe I'm asking for too much. And before they know it, they're stuck in a cycle of justifying disrespect because they're afraid to lose the connection. But listen carefully. You can be patient and still have standards. You can be compassionate and still have boundaries. You can love someone and still require that they meet you with respect. Because when you have standards, you filter out the ones who aren't ready to love you well. You protect your peace. You stop settling for potential, and you start attracting people who respect your value. And the best part, you no longer need to demand good treatment. It becomes a natural byproduct of how you carry yourself. So take responsibility for the energy you allow in your life. Pay attention to the behavior you're accepting, speak your truth, set your standards, and be prepared to enforce them, not with anger, but with quiet confidence. Because the day you stop tolerating less is the day your entire love life changes. The right relationship brings clarity, not chaos. If there's one thing people overlook the most when judging the health of their relationship, it's this. Does this connection bring clarity or confusion? Because the right relationship doesn't feel like a storm you're constantly trying to survive. It feels like shelter, like calm. We've become so conditioned to mistake chaos for passion, to believe that love means butterflies, drama, late night fights followed by intense apologies, that emotional roller coasters are somehow romantic. But let's be honest, if you're constantly overthinking, constantly unsure of where you stand, constantly questioning if they care, that's not passion, that's anxiety. And love should never feel like emotional warfare. The right relationship brings clarity. You know where you stand. You know you're valued. You're not waiting for a reply, wondering if they're going to show up today or disappear tomorrow. You're not decoding mixed messages or trying to make excuses for behavior that doesn't match their words. When someone wants to be with you, they make it clear. They don't make you guess. They don't leave your needs unmet while asking you to be patient. They show up with their words, their actions, their energy, and that kind of consistency creates a safe space. Not just safe for the relationship, but safe for you to be fully seen. Because clarity allows you to relax, to trust, to open up without fear of abandonment or betrayal. And that's where intimacy lives. That's where connection deepens, not in chaos, but in certainty. But here's the catch. Most people are addicted to emotional confusion. Why? Because it mirrors what they experienced in early relationships, maybe even childhood. And what's familiar feels safe, even when it's not healthy. So you have to retrain your emotional radar. When something feels chaotic, it doesn't mean it's passionate. When someone keeps you guessing, it doesn't mean they're mysterious. It often means they're emotionally unavailable. When you feel constant highs and lows, that's not a soulmate. It's instability disguised as love. The right relationship won't always be easy, but it will be steady. That doesn't mean it's boring. It means you can breathe. It means you can focus on building a life together, not just recovering from the latest argument. It means you spend more time growing, less time guessing. So stop chasing the emotional roller coaster. Let go of the addiction to drama. Start choosing clarity. Start choosing peace. Start choosing people who bring out the calm in your nervous system, not the chaos, because the right love will feel different. It won't be a question mark. It will be a full sentence. I choose you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And once you experience that, you'll never again settle for anything less.